What is up YouTube, and welcome to this Snowpiercer Season 2 Episode 3 breakdown, review and recap. There will be spoilers in this video, so please do be warned, and if you enjoyed the video, then please do drop a like down below and subscribe with notifications on so you never miss a video as we cover WandaVision, American Gods and The Stand, among other theory videos weekly. We open with Wilford having the opening monologue of this episode as he talks about using his knowledge like a sword and how this will end with everyone dying, but he will live it out in a life of luxury. Not only is Wilford selfish, but he wants control and does not seemingly care about the prospect of the Earth warming. I guess it's because he would lose control of really everyone. And, well, the only protection of his control is the train, and if people are outside, then they are kind of free to do what they want, as they aren't reliant on life support, food, and things like that. But I think the challenges of making a colony outside may be a bit more than he's thinking. Now, he wakes the train with his music, and we see a girl, which we see later, seemingly one of Alex's former friends, which seems annoyed by this wake-up call, but, well, Wilford walks through the train, flanked by Icy Bob, and is cheered as he heads to the science carriage, and Bobs goes into a cryo chamber. Later in the episode, we see the result of this, with Icy Bob lasting a long time in the freezing cold. If he wasn't a control freak, I'd imagine he was doing these experiments to try and get humans to last outside or go on a mission, which Melanie is doing. But I think he's doing this to try and take Snowpiercer back by doing a breach, sending the mountain that freezes in to take people out, with the Breachmen helping. But that's just my theory there, and let me know if you think that's what he's thinking as well. Most of the episode is getting prepared for Melanie's suicide mission as she wakes with Ben, and Alex prepares to go over the mountain, which is where they need to go to drop Melanie off, and it's a treacherous pass. Leighton is with the engineers as Wilford belittles Layton at every opportunity. Sean Bean is a beyond great addition to this show and a worthy adversary to Layton. I think Sean Bean is really having fun with this role. I can tell that he's enjoying every moment of being the bad guy. He's a very good bad guy after all, as I just hope one time he says, "For England, James." Mel needs someone to help her prepare, however the Big Alice is a Ben-free zone, hinting at how Wilford is insanely jealous at Ben and Mel's relationship as well. Not only is he not getting Melanie at all, but it would also show that he doesn't have control over her, and takes pops at Layton as Layton says citizens have a liaison with engineers now, which Wilford scoffs at. It's wildly different there in the Big Alice, where our boy Wilford is actually controlling the train and making sure that people don't eat, making them hungry and ready to attack. Mel and Layton head to the border, which is now regulated and has a single hotline, which Ruth seemingly controls, as Mel confides that she's upset about lying to Ruth and urges Layton to never do that. They trade supplies, and earlier Wilford said to Alex, like I said, to keep the Big Alice hungry, so they'll be eager to do whatever it takes to take the Snowpiercer back. Except Layton comes in with fresh food, offering to supplement Big Alice's underwhelming food supply and undermining Wilford in a big way to get the supplies the Snowpiercer really needs and also the stuff that the mission requires. It's also mentioned in passing how Kevin is ill, but we know he's dead, and this reveal probably would make Ruth crack and turn against Wilford. Mel heads aboard to get the supplies in the end and pack for a mission, and she says how Layton will be left with Wilford, and she says to Wilford aboard the Big Alice that they can build a colony, but as I said, he doesn't want that whatsoever, but I think that Alex does, as this episode also shows the mother getting in the daughter's head. She manages to actually have a heart-to-heart with Alex throughout the episode and wants to make up for lost time by asking all the missed bonding opportunity questions. Layton then sees Josie again and has been filled in on what happened. She chastises Layton for not delivering what the tale wanted, and she is upset about Layton getting into cahoots with Melanie and the engineers, especially due to what Melanie did to her in the end. He has to keep her on side or he will lose the tale, as he's now seen as a politician and not one of the little guys. Later in the episode, it's also hinted how much she still hates Melanie. Now, due to the border being controlled, Pike is in a precarious situation and losing his standard with the criminal underbelly, except later in the episode, Leighton, now without Melanie, gives him an opportunity to create a trade back channel with the Big Alice, where he trades weed and only weed, which will give Leighton information. Now, Bessie also shows Leighton what happened to Lights, and it seems someone is trying to stop the Tailies from opening up market stalls and just generally beat them down. They suspect the Breachmen as Bessie and Roche head to their quarters, interrupting their home workouts. Now, this is the same Breachmen we had from the last season, where the cattle car was breached and they needed to fix that, and the eccentric Breachman was there, and now he's here. It's a shame that they've turned this into an evil, hardcore Wilford fanatic, because I really liked that guy. I really liked him as a kind of guy who's really seen some stuff, and he's just absolutely crazy. He reminds me of the Russian guy from Armageddon when they go into the space station. But these hardcore Wilford fanatics sat out the revolution, which explains his absence and the rest of their absences last season. They want to sit and wait for Wilford. Clearly one of them was behind the attack on Lights, and we see them later drinking to Wilford. They are going to be a real hardcore battle, and I think that they already have some sort of communique with our boy Wilford, but it might be simply they're just doing what he was told, or they were told, and they were given orders what to do if the train was taken. Now, Mel and Alex continue their heart-to-heart, and Mel says how she can feel the train, which is what we see later when Alex does it in front of Wilford, hinting that the mother is now in her head and how Wilford's evilness is not Alex's, and she can choose a different path, which I think that is probably what's going to happen. And we have the month-long journey, and I expect that Wilford will probably make Alex choose between, the Snowpiercer and her mother. But Ben and Leighton have a similar-ish conversation about Wilford and how all he wants to do is to control as we head into the final part of the mission, as they need to turn off the life support to get more power to go up the Rocky Mountains. This was a really, really tense episode, and I have to say, the whole season so far has just been running at full speed. I mean, last season was a slow burner, very, very slow with the murder mystery, but here it's just, the episodes just go so quickly. The train needs to have sections evacuated to areas where life support can be maintained, such as the night cars. We see the head of the night car absolutely lose it. In the trailers, we see Wilford actually dance with her as well, so I think there's going to be an interesting story down the line, or down the track. Now, Wilford tries to manipulate and belittle everyone, getting Alex to drive the train, and they make it up the track, as Wilford says it's the last time he will allow Alex to feel the emotions she does, as Alex felt the train when she was driving up the track, which he's probably annoyed that this actually succeeded. Now, just before Mel goes into the Big Alice, she talked to Leighton, who now thinks that Wilford doesn't want to recolonize the Earth, and Mel says how the success is in the data and not if she survives or not. Yes, that means do not risk the data to save her life. And this is something which Wilford will love and revel at when it happens later in the season. And Melanie also tries to make amends with Ruth as she asks her to look after Alex, as Ruth really has become the MVP this season. Now, Wilford is elated that Melanie has gone as he sees Leighton as a soft touch, but Alex is slowly but surely turning into her mother. Mel then heads out into the cold snow, and it's now Wilford versus Leighton directly. This was a fun episode. It was superb. It went fast. And I think that we're going to go into more of a slow burner upcoming as the train is starting to have and set its factions. But let me know what you think in the comments down below, and please do like the video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe with notifications on, as we have weekly WandaVision, American Gods, and The Stand videos. I might be covering Clarice next week when The Stand ends, so I'd love to hear if you want that. And I do have a St. Maud video up tomorrow, and we'll be back with The Stand on Thursday. But that's it. I'll see you soon, and goodbye.